It's Royal Rumble weekend, everybody. So welcome. I'm WriterMaven, testing out a new setup, getting prepared for Royal Rumble. I will be streaming tomorrow. I wanted to stream on YouTube, but I'm not sure if I can swing both at the same time. So I'll probably drop YouTube and do just TikTok because it's a little bit easier. Um, but I welcome you all. So there was a lot of stuff that happened this week, today especially, um, in preparation for the Royal Rumble. Um, I do want to get into something. I always say I don't want to talk about Rhea, but but I have to talk about what just happened maybe 10, 15 minutes ago. Now, anybody that knows Liz Morgan knows that she does not like seeing her mugshot for her arrest. She's talked about this in interviews. She does not like seeing it. It makes her uncomfortable. And it's very valid. She was cleared of all charges. She wants to put it behind her. The whole thing was kind of suspect anyway with how she was arrested in the first place. But she doesn't like to see the mugshot. Some, really smarky fans always want to throw out the mugshot or something like that. I've always thought that they should just go ahead and like kayfabe it a little bit, where like how they did it with Dom, like maybe get Dom and Liv arrested as Bonnie and Clyde, and then they can, that way it kind of is in the mythos of kayfabe, and then you can start controlling the narrative of it. But I completely understand that she does not want to relive that with that mugshot. So, as of 10, 15 minutes ago, guess who decided to post a picture of a fan with that mugshot during the events today to her Instagram? Rhea Ripley. This cannot be defended at all. She has said, Liv has said, that she does not like seeing her mugshot. So why would you post with a fan with her mugshot and then post it to Instagram? Why would you do that? Aren't y'all supposed to be besties behind the scenes? Compare this to that really icky picture of Dom that fan drew, and if y'all know what it is, you know. But it's like, why would you post stuff like this? She really posts some really parasocial, suspecting, blurring lines where it's just getting more and more where I give her a side eye. You can't defend posting that. If I was Rhea, I would be demanding that the fan either take off her shirt or put on something else. And if they had to just take the picture, I wouldn't be posting that on my Instagram. It's one thing that if the fan does it, but it's quite another thing to put that on your official Instagram. Like, my opinion of her keeps dropping. Ever since how everything has been handled from SummerSlam all the way up to now, my opinion has dropped of Rhea so hard. I really wanted her to succeed. Really. I thought she could be the next Cody Rhodes. I really do. I've talked about this with some other Rhea fans. I am friends with the other Rhea fans. They do not like it. And they even said that no matter what Rhea does, you're going to have Triple H come behind and clean it up. And that's pretty much the case. Because now, like when she said today at her fan thing that she wants a match with Io and Bianca, and people are saying, oh, well, just we can make that a triple threat at WrestleMania. And I said on the X, I said, that's her problem. She wants to do matches instead of storylines. And then people were like, well, you can get a storyline out of it. And I was like, okay, what kind of storyline can you get from Rhea that's other than I'm always on top and I'm Rhea Ripley? Where is the story? What kind of story can she have with Io? What kind of story would she have with Bianca? And if she gets that back with Bianca, she's plucking Bianca out of a story with Naomi and Jade. So you have harmed two other characters, just like what happened tonight on SmackDown, because Nia is now back after Tiffany. So she used she used Nia to get a win on Saturday night main event, and now Nia has gone back over to SmackDown to go after Tiffany, which is what she should have been doing in the first place. You can't defend the booking. You can't defend what she's doing, bar none. You can't. This is harming other people's characters. This is harming other people's wrestling storylines, and you just can't defend it. Elizabeth says, see Naomi's post on Twitter. What did she post, Elizabeth? Let's see. And what did she post? What did she post? Oh my god. Okay, I see it. That's cleaner than Dom's mouth. Oh my god. Yep. That lightened the boob, didn't it? That's cleaner. Okay, I gotta reply to that. Hold on. Oh god. The mythos. The mythos. Oh my gosh. Okay, why aren't you opening it? Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on. Naomi is wild. Senor says, did you see TJD reacting to both last year's Royal Rumble? Yeah, I am going to answer some more questions later, but yeah, Dom, JD, and Carlito were really hilarious, and Liv and Raquel were really good on their replays. But yeah, now you're gonna have some Rhea fans talking about compared to this about Liv's real woman comments, like, that's heel work and that's in kayfabe, and then Liv has not brought up anything outside of kayfabe in relation to this entire storyline. Like, make it make sense. But I need that laugh. I'll probably get back into that when I talk about SmackDown. But yeah, I had to clear that talk about that because that just happened, and I'm like, no matter what I try, no matter how I want to, I can't stop talking about Rhea. It's exhausting because she's always doing something or something's going on around her. And now I'm looking at Nia back with Tiffany and the food that she should have had after she pretty much got used for Rhea. Y'all really wasted, what was that, almost a month? What's that, one, two? That's about like 3, I would say 2 3 weeks. Y'all wasted 2 3 weeks of Nia's time where that could have been going to Tiffany and using to build Tiffany up because she's going to get fed to Charlotte Flair whenever she gets back. But no, we got to feed her over to Rhea. Like, y'all couldn't pluck Shayna Baszler out of Raw. Like, make it make sense. But anywho, we'll table Rhea for now. I just had to get that out of my chest. She just makes it really, really hard. Like I said, I thought she would be up there with Cody Rhodes, and I was really rooting for her to get up there to Cody Rhodes because you could have launched she could have, the whole LivDom Rhea storyline could have launched, like, don't, shot people into the atmosphere. We could have had Liv, we could have had Dom, we could have had Raquel, we could have had Rhea, but they all messed it up, all for Rhea, and now she's got 1 minute promos and very little wrestling, while meanwhile Liv, Dom, and Raquel are looking very, very good now that they're out of the Rhea and Damien vortex. But moving on. So we had the events of Royal Rumble weekend. You had the press things. We had, starting off, we had Liv and Dom feeding each other's tamales. And Uncle Carlito and Auntie Raquel were really cute in that segment. I encourage you to go find WWE España, or is it WWE Espanol? One of those two social media accounts has those videos. I encourage you to watch it. It was really cute. They were feeding each other. And then we had the press junkets. We had Liv showing up at Cricket Wireless today. She's wearing her I Love Daddy Dom shirt. So whatever squabble and tension that they had, that's over for now. Even as evidence with her gear tonight on SmackDown. We also saw Dom get into it with Penta. Pretty much said, go fuck your mother in Spanish. That this upcoming feud is really intriguing because there's a lot of different manner changes with Dom. He stepped right up to Penta. He wasn't hiding behind anybody. He wasn't cowering or being really like a chicken shit heel. He stepped up. That's a shift in attitude from Dom, and I welcome that. His attitude, presentation wise, as a heel needed to change, and I'm glad we're seeing that. Seeing that interaction made a lot of things better as it relates to presentation. Um, because now you can go a whole bunch of different ways with it. You can go with Braun, Penta, Dom, and even Finn in some kind of like fatal four-way or triple threat match for the IC, and then Dom can call in the favors from Chad Gable and end up winning the IC that way. You can converge a lot of storylines um, with the with Dom right now because he's pulling a lot of mastermind stuff. You saw his mastermind work with his when he was talking to Chad Gable on Monday. We see Dom stepping up to Penta. We saw Finn call out Dom on social media. Like, what was it, Tuesday? Like, you can still do a lot of stuff. And with Finn, like calling out Dom, like, why is he calling out Dom? Yeah, JD got injured, but why did Dom step in to help JD? Because Finn had disappeared into his demon cave, a sulk, and Dom had stepped in. So there's a lot of different ways. I'm still thinking they are going to turn. I'm not sure how that's going to happen. We'll get to the Royal Rumble preview. But if it's not at the Royal Rumble, it's probably going to be the Monday Night Raw afterwards. JD has, because I didn't get to it at my recording on Monday, JD does have broken ribs and a punctured lung, and he's going to be out for a while. So his injury probably accelerated the Dom and Finn storyline. So now we're going to probably get an accelerated Dom and Finn program, and that's fine. They needed to pull the trigger on this. You can't. It was dragging on. It was pulling teeth. So the trigger needs to be pulled sooner rather than later. So now, hopefully, we get that going between Dom and Finn. Like, let Dom just go on and take over Judgment Day, or break off and become more familiar, and just go on from there. But now you have Penta there, so now Dom's kind of involved with a lot of different storylines, which is good. Remember, Raw flows better when there's a lot of anchor points connecting to Judgment Day. If Dom takes over Judgment Day, he's already interconnected with a lot of different people on Raw. He's connected with Chad Gable and Julius, who's trying to flirt with Liv, and I cannot stand that man. I agree with you, Senior, on that. You know, he's connected with Chad. He's connected with Finn. He gets booted. He's connected with, he'll be connected with Penta. He still has the connections with Ray. And there's a lot of other different things. He can be connected even into the Raquel, Liv, Naomi, and Bianca thing as well. So Dom could be connected in a lot of different ways. So we had that. At the kickoff, we had Liv and Raquel show up. They really look good. Big Mommy Cole is looking good. Michael Cole was forced to reintroduce Liv twice, and he's trying to sow seeds like professional instigator that he is. But I actually like Raquel's little promo there at the kickoff. It was in Spanish. She's there to support Liv. A lot of people still want to do this. Well, this is where Raquel is going to turn on Liv. I'm like, it is way too soon for Raquel to turn on Liv or for Liv to turn on Raquel. It's too soon. You can't have them looking like they're going to be going for tag titles and then wanting to split them up. Like, y'all just going to have to get used to that pairing. It's going to be there for a while. And you need to have it there for a while. You need somebody to take hits for Liv. That's just how it works. And then you work up to a breakup point, and then you pull the trigger on that. So it doesn't make sense to split. Yeah, I will say that if the split happens, it's probably because Liv is paying more attention to Dom than to Raquel. But that, again, that's in the future. And I would even say if we ever get like a Las Vegas engagement and like a Paris wedding or something like that, or they go ahead and do the wrestling wedding with Liv and Dom, then it'll probably be way after that. Because you have to build that up. You can't just pull the trigger on Raquel. It won't do anything for Raquel at this moment just for her to be turned on or her to turn on Liv. You'll be setting her up to fail, and she's already been hijacked with her booking and treated poorly with her big booking already with Rhea. So she doesn't need that. She needs to be able to build herself up. So, we're in it for the long ride with Liv and Raquel, and I think Liv and Raquel are just fine. Raquel is not preventing any kind of Liv and Dom moments. I actually like how she stands up for Dom, like as I said on Monday, where she stood up for Dom, backing his play with Chad. So there's a nice vibe between her, Liv, and Dom. Like, people are just gonna have to get used to Raquel. She's not preventing anything as it relates to Liv. I will note that at the kickoff, they are really pushing this runner-up thing, so there's a glimmer of hope that Liv might pull it off. I'm not sure. I'll probably get to my when I get to my Royal Rumble preview. I'll probably go into why that is, but it's just interesting how they keep hammering that home. So it's just something to think about in the back of your mind. And we're going into SmackDown. SmackDown, we had um, Naomi win with kind of like a roll up on Liv. I'm not too worried about that. Liv has already gotten a couple of wins on Naomi and Bianca. So it kind of evens itself out. It's kind of 50-50, but we got more after the match. Liv and Raquel stood tall after it. So Raquel looked great with her moves and her aggression against everybody else, big booting people, and dare I say, now that they're out of the Rhea vortex, it's amazing how now Raquel looks very effective now. That was always the problem. Rhea was the problem. Rhea was the problem. She stymied Raquel, where she couldn't even look like a good bodyguard. But now that Raquel is away from Rhea, you can see how effective Raquel looks, and she looks fine. She looked great actually. So Liv and Raquel stood tall. So it was, Raquel looked good. Liv looked good. We're getting storyline here. And now, where are the people bitching about Dom being involved with the women? He wasn't out there tonight. I was really hoping he showed up just so I could see people bitch about him, but he wasn't there. So where is the bitching now? He wasn't out there. Is he still taking over the? Is he still taking over the women's division? Hmm? Now everybody's like really quiet now. That Dom is always taking over the division. I said on the X earlier this week, like, I kind of wish that Dom did take over the women's division, just so there would be a ready-made excuse for people to actually bitch about it. Like, it gets ridiculous with Dom. Like, he can't support his girlfriend like a heel would. Like, nobody would bitch when he was supporting Rhea, so now that he's with Liv, everybody want to bitch. No, so, everybody want to bitch about Dom. Well, he wasn't there, so you can't bitch. I will say that now that Damien's on SmackDown, people will now know that No Self Priest is their problem now. Because really, you had Damien and LA Knight really beat Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. I know Jacob didn't take the pin, but why would you feed Tama Tonga to Damien Priest? Like, they just lost, Solo, and we're still, I guess they're going to do their own entity now. And you got Jacob Fatu looking like the beast that he is and the superstar that he is. And you just have No Self Priest in there. That's y'all's problem. That's SmackDown's problem now. Y'all got Damien. Dom don't have to deal with him anymore. Finn doesn't have to deal with it anymore. That's their problem with his Undertaker stealing moves. So, like, this dude is actually walking the ropes like the Undertaker. The Undertaker. Like, you don't have the aura of the Undertaker at all. But it is what it is. That's the Terror Twins. I kind of wish Damien and Rhea were on SmackDown so I wouldn't have to deal with it. But as long as Damien's not around so Dom doesn't have to lose all the time, I'll take it. Anywho, Royal Rumble time. We do have women and men. For the men, everything is kind of up in the air. There's so many storylines running in with the men where you could go like CM Punk. I don't think John Cena's gonna win it. I think it's gonna be a toss up between CM Punk and probably is going to be CM Punk. CM Punk goes CM Punk Cody, and then on Raw you probably have John Cena like maybe winning Elimination Chamber because he's advertised for it, and then he can face Gunther at WrestleMania. I will say for the men, I'm hoping Dom does an Iron Man performance. He has been trending upward with all his not WrestleMania, all his Royal Rumble appearances as it relates to time. So I think this is probably the year Dom needs to go Iron Man, where he stays in there the longest. And I think he needs to be the one that eliminates some people. He needs to eliminate Finn. If Finn returns, he needs to eliminate Finn so they can kick off that storyline. He probably needs to eliminate Penta too. And I would give him John Cena to eliminate. You could do like a little stopgap John Cena Dom little feud before they kind of separate, and then they can come back together later on. But I think Dom needs to separate a fan. He needs to eliminate a fan favorite like John Cena, Roman Reigns, something like that. And then he needs to eliminate Finn, and he probably needs to eliminate Penta. And I would even go as far as Braun Breaker too. Like if you want to set up like that Intercontinental Triple Threat or Fatal 4-Way with Dom, just start eliminating those people like Finn, Penta, Braun, and then a fan favorite, so Dom can get that heat reestablished. I know Jacob Tattoo is probably going to be a beast. They said the odds are he's the favorite to eliminate a lot of different people, but it is what it is. As long as Logan Paul self is away from it and he is eliminated, I don't really care. I think it's going to be Cena. I think it's going to be CM Punk, and I just hope that Dom has a good showing. If he ends up being in the Final Four, I'll be happy for him. I'm not sure he's going to win. He's a long shot, but I'll take it. Women's Royal Rumble. BC Amplified, who I strongly encourage y'all to listen to on YouTube, had the odds for the women's match. It was Charlotte Flair, Io, Becky, Jordynne Grace, Liv, and Bianca. Now, Charlotte looks like an odds-on favorite, but I really hope that she does not win the Royal Rumble. I don't want a repeat winner for the Royal Rumble for the women, because we've already had the Royal Rumble is too new to be having repeat winners for the women. Not yet. Maybe in the next couple of years we can start having some repeat winners, but as of right now, not right now. I wouldn't want that. Charlotte, I think, could win Elimination Chamber, and then she can go face Tiffany, which is probably going to be in the cards for WrestleMania. Now, who would you win? Who would I go for winning the Royal Rumble? Now, this is probably going to be for Rhea, because, of course, like I said, they've been kind of hammering it home kind of thick with Liv being a runner-up. And then she took a loss here. She kind of stood tall, but she still took a loss. So her momentum is kind of half and half. So I'm going to say it's 50-50 is going to be Liv. I don't think it's going to be Io, because like I said, where's the story with Io? Like, how are you going to build Io for Rhea for all these months? Because you know Rhea ain't wrestling till WrestleMania. So, and I really don't think, and you could sleep in Bianca there as well, but again, you're just pulling Bianca out of a story with Naomi and Jade, and if that happens, then that's fucked up. Because, again, what's the story? I'm the best. That's what happened last year with Becky. And then this year, they won't have Dawn to bounce off of. The Charlotte match was only good because you had Dom there, and then he was the one that kind of pulled everything together with that Queenie promo, and I highly suggest y'all go back and watch that Queenie promo, because it was hilarious and so good. But again, I don't think it's gonna either be Bianca either. It's not gonna be Io. It's not gonna be Bianca. So I'm gonna put my prediction as either it's going to be Charlotte or it's going to be Liv. And if they want it to have it to be Liv, you know, then we got to go back into the Rhea vortex. It is what it is. But you could still do Liv as a women's champ and have her be a double champ as a tag champ, because you could have that, because that reestablishes the Familiar or Judgment Day, whatever the way they want to break it. They can set that up, and then you just have them with the gold, and then they're legit. So those are my predictions on that. What was I going to say? Yeah, there was also, like with Finn and Dom, like I was saying there, this is Royal Rumble time where they need to pull the trigger on Finn and Dom. You can. This is probably predictions for Monday. I might have to save this until I actually can see what goes down at the Royal Rumble, because I really do hope Dom like takes out Finn at the Royal Rumble if he shows up, because I think that needs to be established. Dom needs to be established some more, and as long as he keeps doing these mastermind type things, I think it'll do better for him. And did y'all see where Rhea was? Last thing about Rhea, she did talk about like she wanted that this little fan thing that she wanted to toss out Dom at the Royal Rumble, and I'm like, okay, woman, you already gave him the whip. You already gave Dom a riptide. You won. You got the title. Leave the man alone. You know, if I see this woman at the Royal Rumble, in the men's Royal Rumble, I don't want her anywhere near Dom at all. I don't need to see it. She needs to be away, and if she's gonna be over there trying to attack Dom, this is where he needs to toss her out, like immediately. Like I do not need to see. I do not need to see her in the men's Royal Rumble, because nobody's gonna be allowed to touch her. I mean, at least Nia was able to brag about how she entered in and took care of R-Truth, but at least Nia was in the Royal Rumble. She took a lick. Rhea has yet to get that lick from a guy, but I do not want to see her in the men's Royal Rumble. You know, you need to be in a sweet box, watching the Royal Rumble, sitting there on your ass doing nothing like you've always been doing. Nothing. But anywho, I think that's it. I'm gonna go back and answer some questions. Let's see if I can actually scroll this time. I thank y'all all for the likes. Senora said the Dom and Penta face to face was crazy. Yes, it was. This Dom is so into himself that he can pretty much say with a straight face, "Go fuck your mother" in Spanish, but still, like, it was crazy. And hopefully this is not where Dom is just fed to Penta, but you can do a prolonged feud between Penta and Dom. And I also had a theory, like, if they can free up Rey Fenix, Penta's brother, from AEW, he can be that favor that's for Chad. Because if you get all the way to the Royal Rumble, to WrestleMania, and they're having an IC match, and I would say it would be either a ladder match or a TLC match, you know, you can have Rey Fenix show up there and take out Penta, and then Dom can get the IC, and you can roll with that. That's what I would do. You know, if you can get Rey Fenix out of AEW's clutches. But it's just really great to see Dom's confidence when he was facing up with Penta. And that's what we need to see more of. We just need to see that confidence, and we need to see him start getting wins. That's why a lot of people are just annoyed, even with how JD was injured in the match. That's why a lot of people were annoyed with Dom taking that loss. We just didn't want to see Dom always taking the pin. But this time I'll excuse the pin because of JD, and we don't know what would have happened in the original outcome of the match if JD hadn't been injured. But yeah, Dom and Penta, it's all go crazy. Okay, so thank y'all all for the likes again. The Naomi post, yeah, I talked about that. That was hilarious and wild. Like, Naomi, woman, what are you doing? Senor says she wants to team up again with Nia. Like, you might as well. I mean, that's like your only other heel other than Liv. Like, who is the heels that can go up, you know, who's your major heels? It's Nia, it's Liv, it's Raquel. Then it's like a big drop off after that point. I mean, maybe Roxanne But still, I wouldn't want Roxanne anywhere near Rhea's orbit because I would actually like to see her develop, and get built up stronger before having to deal with Rhea. Senor says, I am so sick of Julius Creed. It just seems like he's just been fishing for any kind of hook into a storyline, and I think that's what annoys people. I mean, yeah, shoot your shot for a storyline, but I mean, you're with American Made, and you should probably be looking at trying to get some of those tag team title gold from the War Raiders before anything else. Kendall says, respect for JD finishing that match on Monday. Yes, major respect. And hope he gets well soon. Broken ribs and a punctured lung is not nothing to laugh about. But he finished that match. Like, that's hardcore. And Elizabeth says, Raquel does live like a sister and a friend. Yeah, that's why I am always ride or die for Raquel right now. Because why would you want to split Raquel off? Even if you think that Raquel is holding Liv back, you still want somebody there to take pins and hits for Liv. You need somebody like that in a faction. It's kind of like how Carlito. You kind of need somebody like Carlito around. Like, that's why I say I don't want Carlito to necessarily go whenever they do the split, because you kind of need somebody there to take the hits for Dom. Like, if Dom is just there with Liv and Raquel and he's fighting the guys, either he has to start getting himself like DQ'd, or avoid getting. He needs pins, but are they going to give him the pins? You need to have somebody there that can take those hits where Dom can still look strong, but somebody else can take that loss. And Senor says, I love the purple gear. The purple gear is good because that's reminiscent of back during the summer where we had Liv have Dom bandana. So it was nice to see the purple Judgment Day coloring back on her, but it looked really good on her. And Senor says, did you notice in JD's new jacket have the bandana and the skull? Yeah, he's had that skull motif on his jacket because he's like the Irish ace, but the bandana is that paisley is Dom's aesthetic. So as I was saying about his jacket is because that would have been Dom. So you could see where he was leaning toward in this whole storyline. JD was leaning more towards Dom because the motif is Dom's. Some people were saying, some were saying, like, well, Finn had the bandana first. Yeah, he did have, Street Finn had the purple bandana 2 years ago. But after a while, it's been co-opted by Dom. Because when he went to prison, that's when he got the purple bandana and started wearing it more. So when he was prison Dom, he had the bandana. And that's been a part of his aesthetic ever since. Finn really didn't have the bandanas. He had like a purple flag or something like that that would hang from his gear, but it wasn't like the bandana. He would wear it for a while and then he stopped. And then it was Dom that took over the paisley bandana motif. So that was just more of a strong indication that JD was leaning towards Dom, and I still think they can lean it that way with JD, especially if they play it like Finn is like, he doesn't care about JD, but he's going after Dom because it's just an easy target. And JD was like, you never cared about me. Dom stepped up for me and tried to take care of me. And then he turns on him. Because people saying JD could come back face like this, but he could come back face after this injury. But it just depends on what's going on Raw. I think he might do better just like as a heel coming back. Especially if he starts something with Finn. Senor says, can we get the walkout of La Familia and Carlito tomorrow? I hope so. I kind of want to see them all together. Dom, Carlito, Liv, and Raquel. I'm kind of hoping we see that. I'm hoping we do see that tomorrow. Cameron says, hey, hi Cameron. Senor says, oh, and hey, Brickolo. Senor says, what if Dom and Finn were still brawling each other after Royal Rumble? That could be absolutely good too. You could have them brawling after Royal Rumble, like backstage, and then like the following Monday, you see them on site, kind of like how Kevin and Cody Rhodes are doing right now. Just be on site fighting. and then just rolling and just keep going from there. I do think that Dom needs to do something serious to Finn, and I think that's a concerto. You know, emulate what happened with Judgment Day when they took out Beth Phoenix. If you remember that at not Elimination Chamber, but Extreme Rules. Um, just have Dom do the concerto and then roll from there. But I think it needs to be a little bit extreme for Dom. Because, like I said, he needs to be reestablished and rebuilt back up. And let's see. It says Dom's confidence continues to grow. Yeah, you can really see the confidence with Dom. And it's really great to see. We need that. Dom needs that confidence. He's done a lot of learning. And I think now is the time where you need to start rewarding him for his heat and things like that. And he needs to, like I said, he needs to reestablish himself from the chicken shit heel to a more serious heel. Like, he still can be cowardly and things like that, but he needs to be a little bit more serious. Senor says, I would like to see Lucha Brothers versus Dom and JD in the future. Yeah, that would probably be a nice banging tag team match. Ooh, especially if it's like a death match or a TLC match, something like that. Like, I think that would be really good. Elizabeth says, I see Liv winning tomorrow because of how she stood on top. And it's a possibility because they, like I said, they've been really driving home the her being runner-up. Now, I wouldn't pay that too much attention if they just kind of glossed over it, but they've been kind of hammering it home. So either something's going to happen again, and I don't want them to do that. Like, I don't want her to be another third runner-up. I think that's just cruel. Like, if she's gonna get eliminate her before any of that. You know, I don't need to see that. But so it's either something's going to happen, like maybe Becky returning or something like that, or she wins the thing. And it's a possibility she can win that thing because, like I said, what's the story with Rhea? What is Rhea's story right now? She has no story. All the story was wrapped up with Liv, and that's where it could continue. And unfortunately, that kind of drags Dom back into it again, but still, that's the story. As long as she stays away from Dom, it's A-okay with me. But I doubt it. Senor says, CJ, the Judgment Day's new theme reminds me a lot of Penta's AEW song. And yeah, I can see that. I think that new song needs a little bit more tweaking. I think it needs a little bit more bass in it. But I think if it can get tweaked to be a better song. But that's Death Rebel, so everybody's got problems with Death Rebel. I think that's it for question. Let me see what is going on here. Like, live thing is just so slow sometimes. And I think that's it. I'm gonna be on I hate these 5 o'clock start times. I kind of wish it was 7, but I'm going to be on around 4:50-ish my time. I think I'm going to do it from here. I'm thinking of doing it on TikTok. I was going to try and see if I can simulcast on YouTube. If I can't simulcast on YouTube, then I'm just going to drop it. We'll see how that goes. Senor says, why Carlito's still not competing at Raw? I think it's just because there's no mid-card or anybody else for him to fight. Like, if there was another faction around where Carlito could wrestle a little bit more, like against LWO, like if LWO, we had something similar to LWO, I think Carlito would be wrestling more. He seems like he does enough. He's more like a utility player at this moment. So I think once things get going, where he needs to start wrestling more, he'll be up and be wrestling more. Yeah, before I sign off. Oh my gosh, Liv said you'd love to know about Daddy Dom's mouth, huh? To Naomi. The wilding on Twitter right now. Yeah, this is just the whole thing is wild. I'm telling you, as soon as Liv got away from Rhea, we get stuff like this, and it's more welcomed. Like, it's kind of interesting to see people like really call out like Rhea for posting that Instagram. So I'm happy that people are calling her out for that because, like I said, there was no excuse for that. And first KO, now Dom. Oh yeah, Naomi had like last week, like when Kevin Owens came out with Naomi's shirt, everybody was like plastering wigs and like nails on Kevin Owens' picture, and that was hilarious. So yep, so can't wait for tomorrow. I think I'm gonna end it now. I will see y'all tomorrow.